Let us begin with the problem solving on impulse and momentum. So we are dealing with the first problem. Two particles of masses m1 and m2 in projectile motion have velocities v1 and v2 respectively at time t equals 0. They collide at time tn. Their velocities become v1 dash and v2 dash at time 2t naught while still moving in air. The value of m1 v1 dash plus m2 v2 dash minus m1 v1 vector plus m2 v2 vector is. So if we consider the two particles as a system, then the external force acting on the system is the gravitational pull as the particles move along the projectile path. So if I write about the external force that is acting on the particle, so I can write that F external on both the particles combined can be written as m1 plus m2 into g. Now the next parameter which we are talking about is the definition of force. So if I write the value of F external, then it is written as the change in momentum by time taken. So if we write it this way, so over here I can say that the change in momentum can be written as F external multiplied by the time taken. So if we look at the equation which we are talking about, we are writing it in terms of m1 v1 dash plus m2 v2 dash, that is the final momentum, minus the initial momentum, that is m1 v1 vector plus m2 v2 vector. So if we write the magnitude of final momentum minus initial momentum, then it is equal to F external into delta t. So if we look at this scenario, we have F external as m1 plus m2g, and the time taken is equal to 2t naught as it starts at t equal to 0. So the time which we multiply over here is 2t naught. So the correct option will be twice of m1 plus m2g t naught. That is, option D is correct for this particular problem. Let us move to the next question. Two blocks of masses 10 kg and 4 kg are connected by a spring of negligible mass and placed on a frictionless horizontal surface. An impulse gives a velocity of 14 meter per second to the heavier block in the direction of the lighter block. Then the velocity of center of mass is. For this particular question, we are taking the formulation that velocity of center of mass equals m1 v1 vector plus m2 v2 vector upon m1 plus m2. So if we substitute the values which we have, so we have a heavier block that is given a velocity of 14 meter per second, the lighter block that is 4 kg which is initially at rest, upon the total mass that is 14, 10 plus 4, 14. So on solving it out, we obtain 10 meter per second. So the velocity of center of mass is going to be 10 meter per second. That is, option C is correct. We can note over here that the spring force which we are talking about is an example of an internal force, and it will not be responsible for the change in the momentum of the system. So let us move to the next problem. A ball of mass 0.2 kg rests on a vertical post of height 5 meter. A bullet of mass 0.01 kg traveling with a velocity v meter per second in a horizontal direction hits the center of the ball. After the collision, the ball and the bullet travel independently. The ball hits the ground at a distance of 20 meter and the bullet at a distance of 100 meter from the foot of the post. The velocity of the bullet is. So in this first scenario, what are we going to solve is we are going to solve the projectile motion. So for both the projectiles, that is the ball and the bullet, which is landing at two different places, that is 100 meter point and 20 meter point respectively. we are first of all interested in calculating the time which the particle takes to complete this projectile path. So we begin with the motion along y-axis. So along y-axis, I can take for both the particle, the initial velocity along y-axis is 0, the displacement along y-axis is minus 5 meter, acceleration along y-axis is minus 10 meter per second square. And if we solve for time, we can write it as s is equal to ut is 0 minus half 10 t square. So from here, we obtain t is equal to 1 second. So if t is equal to 1 second, then the horizontal velocity along x-axis for bullet and the ball can be calculated very easily, as we have already 20 meter and 100 meter. So from this particular diagram, I can say that the ball hits the ground at a distance of 20 meter. So the velocity of ball in the x-axis direction must be equal to 20 meter per second, because the distance of 20 meter was covered in 1 second, and for the bullet, the velocity of the bullet along x-axis is equal to 100 meter per second, because this distance is also covered in 1 second. For the projectile which is projected horizontally, the time of flight is the same. It is the range that differs because of the different velocities along the x-axis. Now the question is asking that the ball which was initially at rest is hit by a bullet. So now what we are going to do is we will be applying momentum conservation. So let us apply momentum conservation. So we are saying that the initial momentum along x-axis is equal to final momentum along x-axis. So initial momentum along x-axis is due to bullet. So the mass of bullet is equal to 0.01 kg, which is moving with a velocity v. And finally, the bullet which was of 0.01 kg mass is found to move with 100 meter per second, and the ball which was of 0.2 kg mass is found to move with 20 meter per second. So from here we can easily calculate the velocity which we have, that is equal to 5 upon 0.01, that is equal to 500 meter per second. So if we look at this particular problem, so we say that option D is correct alternative, that is 500 meter per second. Let us move to the next problem. A particle of mass m is projected from the ground with an initial velocity u0 at an angle alpha with the horizontal. At the highest point of its trajectory, it makes a completely inelastic collision with another identical particle which was thrown vertically upward from the ground with the same initial velocity u0. The angle that the composite system makes with the horizontal immediately after collision is. So if we consider this problem, we are considering the two aspects of the problem. The first one is the particle that is projected from the ground. So the mass m is projected with an initial speed of u0, making an angle alpha with the horizontal. So as the particle is going up, that is along this projectile path, I suppose that this is the highest point where the collision takes place. So at the highest point, the velocity of this mass is directed along the x-axis direction, and it is equal to u0 cos alpha. So this is the first particle which we are considering. Now the second particle which we have is projected from the ground vertically upward. So if we mark this as the maximum height of the projectile, so this can be written as u square sine square alpha by 2g. So it is projected with a speed u0 as mentioned in the question. So after attaining this height, it will attain a certain velocity along y-axis direction. So for particle 2, I can say, for the other particle, I can say that initial velocity along y-axis is equal to u0, acceleration along y-axis is minus g, displacement along y-axis is equal to u square sine square alpha, by 2g. So if we calculate the final velocity attained, so I can write that final velocity along y-axis square is equal to initial velocity square minus 2g h, which is equal to u square sine square alpha by 2g. So from here we obtain u square 1 minus sine square alpha, that is, it can be written as u square cos square alpha, and we can write that the velocity along y-axis is equal to u naught cos alpha. So if we consider both the system together, so then I can say that along y-axis the initial velocity is also equal to u naught cos alpha for this system. So now if we talk about the initial and final momentum, so I can say that along x-axis direction, the initial momentum of the system P initial is equal to mu cos alpha, and the final momentum when the two masses will combine together will become 2m velocity along x-axis. So from here if we apply momentum conservation along x-axis, that is P initial is equal to P final along x-axis, so I can write it as mu cos alpha is equal to 2m velocity along x-axis. So velocity along x-axis is equal to u cos alpha by 2. And if we apply for the y-axis direction, so along y-axis direction, so we can say that the initial momentum along y-axis direction was also equal to mu cos alpha, and final momentum will become 2mv along y-axis. So if I take initial momentum along y-axis is equal to final momentum along y-axis, so I can write it as mu cos alpha is equal to 2m vy. So vy is equal to u by 2 cos alpha. So from this we can say that the final velocity along x-axis and y-axis have the same magnitude, that is u by 2 cos alpha, and hence if we take the angle which the final velocity makes with the horizontal, that is v makes an angle phi, so I can take that tan phi is equal to v by vx. Since both are same, so I can say that tan phi is equal to 1 or phi is equal to 45 degree, that is pi by 4. So for this particular question, I can say that the angle which it makes is equal to pi by 4 or 45 degree. So let us move to the next problem. So the next problem is stating a ball hits the floor and rebounds after an inelastic collision. The collision is inelastic. So in this case, the first statement is saying the momentum of the ball just after the collision is the same as that just before the collision. So now this statement is wrong because the momentum of the ball changes in magnitude as well as direction. It is because the collision is inelastic and the impact is along the y-axis direction where there is an external force acting. So we can say that the momentum along y-axis will surely change as there is an external force involved. So the first statement is false. The mechanical energy of the ball remains the same after the collision. So this statement is also wrong because on collision some mechanical energy is converted into heat and sound energy. So this statement is also false. The third statement is saying the total momentum of the ball and the earth is conserved. Now this statement is correct. The total momentum when we consider as the ball earth system is going to be conserved because there will be no net external force involved. For the next one, the total energy of the ball and the earth is conserved is also correct. When we say total energy, we consider all the form of energy, that is heat energy, sound energy, or any other form of mechanical energy that is present. So for this particular problem, C and D are the correct alternatives. Let us move to the next problem. A shell is fired from a cannon with a velocity v meter per second at an angle theta with the horizontal direction. At the highest point its path, it explodes into two pieces of equal mass. one of the pieces retraces its path to the cannon and the speed of the other piece immediately after collision is. So we are asked to calculate the speed of the other particle after collision. So if I consider it in this way, so I can draw the diagram in this way, that the shell is fired from the cannon over here with a velocity v meter per second, making an angle theta with the horizontal, and it will be in a projectile path like this. So at the highest point of the path, that is somewhere here, it is exploding into two shells of equal masses. So the two shells are of equal masses such that one path start retracing it towards the cannon back again. So over here I can say that the initial velocity along x-axis is v cos theta. So in order to come back to the cannon, the velocity of this after the explosion happens must also be v cos theta, and the final velocity can be v, which we are trying to find out, vf. So we are asked to calculate the speed of the other piece immediately after the collision. So if I apply momentum conservation along x-axis direction, so I can write that initial momentum along x-axis is equal to final momentum along x-axis. So I can write that along x-axis initially was equal to mu cos theta or mv cos theta, and then finally it will become m by 2 v final minus m by 2 v cos theta. So this can be written as v. We are writing a negative sign because it is coming towards the negative x-axis direction. So if we solve for this, so we obtain 2v cos theta plus v cos theta is equal to v final. So v final is equal to 3v cos theta. So for this particular problem, 3v cos theta, that is option A, is the correct alternative. Let us move to the next problem. Two blocks A and B, each of mass m, are connected by the massless spring of natural length L and spring constant K. The blocks are initially resting on a smooth horizontal floor with the spring at its natural length as shown in the given figure. A third identical block C, also of the mass m, moves on the floor with the speed v along the line joining A and B and collides elastically with A. Then, so if the two identical masses are colliding elastically, so I can certainly say that after collision C will come to rest while block A will attain the velocity v and starts moving towards block B. So block A acquires velocity v and starts moving towards block B. So now since all the blocks are identical and they have mass m each, so I can write it in this way, that the mass of all the block is equal to m. So the first option is asking us to find out the kinetic energy of the AB system at maximum compression of the spring. So at maximum compression of the spring. So when the spring will be compressed by the maximum amount, so I can redraw that the AB system is going to look like this. A and B will eventually attain the same velocity and will be moving along the same direction, maybe with velocity v dash each. So this is when the two masses, the spring will have the maximum compression. So if we write momentum conservation equation, because the spring force will be an example of internal force, so we can conserve momentum in the direction of the spring force, that is along x-axis. So I can write that initial momentum is equal to final momentum along x-axis direction. So we can write it as m into v is equal to 2m V dash. So from here we obtain that V dash is equal to V by 2. Now if we calculate the kinetic energy of the system, so kinetic energy of the system at maximum compression can be written as half total mass, that is equal to 2m, and each mass is moving with V by 2, so V square by 4. So on solving we obtain it as mv square by 4. So this is the kinetic energy at the maximum compression. Now the next question that is asked is the maximum compression of the spring. So we can solve this problem using two techniques. So the first technique which we will be discussing is the energy conservation. So if we apply energy conservation for the entire mass system, so we are thinking about step 1 or the method 1 by which we are solving this problem. So I can write that initial was half mv square. Finally it becomes half mv dash square for two particles. So we are putting 2 over here, plus half kx square. So we can write it as half mv square, which is equal to 1 by 4 times of mv square plus half kx square. So from here we can obtain that x is equal to v root over m by 2k. So this is going to be the compression produced. Or I can use it one more step to solve it out, which is a much more simpler approach. So we can solve it in C frame. So if I apply the C frame equation, so I will write it as half mu v relative square is equal to half kx square, and we can write it as half m by 2 u square is equal to half kx square. So from here I can put u as equal to v over here, v dash, which is equal to v by 2, and then we obtain x is equal to mu square by 2k square root. So if we put over here as equal to v, so we get v m by 2k, because initially the relative velocity between the two blocks is equal to v. So since initially the relative velocity between two blocks is equal to v, so we can put the value over here in terms of half mu v relative square is equal to half kx square. In case you do not know about C frame, you can watch a video on C frame on my channel. It will help you through. Let us move to the next problem. So let me give answer for this particular problem. So after solving, we are sure that the option B is correct and option D is correct. So for this problem, option B and D are the correct alternatives. So let us move to the next problem. The balls having linear momenta p1 vector equal to pi cap and p2 is equal to minus pi cap vector undergo a collision in free space. There is no external force acting on the balls. Let p1 dash vector and p2 dash vector be their final momenta. The following options is or are not allowed for any non-zero value of p, a1, a2, b1, b2, c1, c2 are. So the non-zero values of p, a1, a2, b1, b2, c1, c2 are not allowed. So I can say, using the concept of linear momentum conservation, so the first thing that I can write over here is that the total initial momentum is going to be pi cap minus pi cap, which is equal to 0. So therefore the final linear momentum should also be 0. So let us go on checking each option to obtain the final momentum as equal to 0. So if we look at the final momentum equation over here, and if I add both the result, so I will obtain a1 plus a2 I cap plus b1 plus b2 j cap plus c1 k cap. So if we look at this fact that non-zero value of P, A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2 are not allowed. So over here, in order to make the final momentum 0, it is necessary that C1 must be 0. And since the non-zero value is not allowed, so I say that this particular option holds true for our case, that is for the option where it is saying not allowed. So the first one holds correct in our case. In the second one, we can get the final momentum as 0 because it will be C1 minus C2k, and the non-zero value of C1 and C2 can give us the value equal to 0. So this is not holding true because it is the truth statement. Over here we are asked not allowed. If we look at the third option, we will obtain A1 plus A2 I cap, B1 plus B2 j cap, C1 minus C2 k cap, and again we say that the non-zero values can again fetch us zero momentum, so this is also not allowed. So if we look at this option, we get the final momentum as equal to A1 plus A2 I cap plus 2 B1 j cap. So this is the final momentum which we have, and if this is the final momentum, so in order to obtain the zero value, this one is possible that we can write it as A1 is equal to minus A2. But over here, in order to make this 0, B1 should be equal to 0, but it is not allowed. So I can say that this alternative will not hold true for us. So for this problem, A and D are correct alternatives. So let us deal with the next problem. A point mass of 1 kg collides elastically with a stationary point mass of 5 kg. So here I can draw this system like this, that a point mass of 1 kg moving with a certain velocity u collides with another point mass of 5 kg which was initially at rest. So we are writing this as u1 and this is u2. So post collision, the 1 kg mass reverses its direction and starts moving with 2 meter per second. So we are writing this as v1, and let us say that the 5 kg mass is moving with velocity v2. So the first thing which we can apply over here is momentum conservation along x-axis direction. So if we conserve momentum along x-axis direction, so initial momentum will become u1 into 1, that is equal to u1 is equal to minus 2 kg meter per second along the negative x-axis direction and 5 v2 along the positive x-axis direction. So this is my first equation. The next thing which we write is the equation of coefficient of restitution E, which is equal to v2 minus v1 by u1 minus u2. So over here we can put this as v2 minus of minus 2, that is plus 2, upon u1 minus 0, which is equal to 1. So from here we obtain the second equation as u1 is equal to v2 plus 2. So from both these equations I can calculate by equating these two equations that minus 2 plus 5 v2 is equal to v2 plus 2. So from here we obtain that 4 v2 is equal to 4, or v2 is equal to 1 meter per second. And hence we obtain that u1 is equal to minus 2 plus 5, that is 3 meter per second. So once we have these values, we can start checking all the options. So the first one is saying the total momentum of the system is 3 kg meter per second. So if we look at the initial momentum, then it is equal to 1 into u1, which is equal to 3. So we will get 3 kg meter per second, which is the correct alternative. So the option A is correct. Momentum of 5 kg after collision. So momentum of 5 kg after collision, momentum of mass 2 after collision is going to be 5 v2. If we calculate 5 v2, then it is equal to 5 kg meter per second. So it is incorrect. So for this option is incorrect. The next question that is asked is kinetic energy of the center of mass of the system. So if we calculate the velocity of center of mass of the system, so we can say that velocity of center of mass is equal to m1 u1 upon m1 plus u2, that is equal to 0 upon total mass, that is 6 kg. So it is half meter per second. So if I write the kinetic energy of center of mass, then it can be written as half total mass into velocity of center of mass squared. So we have half, the total mass of the system is equal to 6 kg, 5 plus 1, and velocity of center of mass squared, which is equal to half square, that is 1 by 4. So here we obtain 6 by 8, that is 3 by 4 or equal to 0.75 joule. So this option is correct, that kinetic energy of the center of mass is 0.75 joule. The total kinetic energy of the system. So if we calculate the total kinetic energy of the system initially, then it will be equal to half into 1 into 3 squared, that is 9. So we will obtain 9 by 2, that is 4.5 kg, 4.5 joule. So it is not matching with the option. So for this we say that option A and C are the correct alternative for this particular problem. So let us move to the next problem. A particle of mass m is attached to one end of a massless spring of force constant K lying on a frictionless horizontal plane. The other end of the spring is fixed. The particle starts moving horizontally from its equilibrium position at time t equal to 0 with an initial velocity u0. When the speed of the particle is 0.5 u0, it collides elastically with a rigid wall. After this collision, so we are asked to calculate after this collision the speed of particle when it returns to its equilibrium position. The next one that is asked is the time at which the particle passes through the equilibrium position for the first time. The next question that is asked is the time at which the maximum compression of the spring occurs. And then the next which is asked is the time at which the particle passes through the equilibrium position for the second time. So these are the questions that are asked to us. So let us begin solving this out. So we are considering the problem like this, that this is the spring mass system and this is the rigid wall which we have. So attached with a spring is a mass m which at t equal to 0 is at its equilibrium position. So it is given a velocity u0 and it collides the wall with a speed of 0.5 u0, and as a result of which it rebounces back with the same speed, that is 0.5 u0. Now why we are saying this? It is because the question is saying the particle starts moving horizontally with an initial velocity u0 and it collides elastically. So if the collision is perfectly elastic, so I can say that the particle will rebound with the same velocity. So the next thing that we can discuss over here is we can apply energy conservation and calculate how far from the mean position or the equilibrium position the collision actually happened. So if we apply energy conservation, so we are applying initial energy is equal to final energy, and we can write it as half m u0 square is equal to half m u by 2, that is u0 square by 4 plus half k x square. So here we can calculate the value of x. So the next line we obtain is 3 by 4 m u0 square is equal to kx square, and hence we write that x is equal to u0 root over 3 m by 4k. So this is the value of x which we have. Now the maximum possible elongation, if we calculate for the value of the maximum elongation that is possible. So if we consider that the maximum elongation is a, that is amplitude, so we can write it as half m u0 square is equal to half k a square. So from here we obtain that A is equal to u naught root over m by k. So from here, if we apply the equation of SHM, that is x is equal to a sine omega t, because the motion starts at the mean position, so phi is equal to 0. So from the equation x is equal to a sine omega t, we obtain u naught root over 3m by 4k is equal to a, which is equal to u naught m by k sine omega t. So from here we obtain root 3 by 2 is equal to sine omega t, and we can say that omega t during the first collision can be written as pi by 3. So from here we can write it as omega can be written as 2 pi by capital T into small t is equal to pi by 3, and from here we obtain small t as t by 6, which we can write it as the total time of flight. The total time of SHM was equal to 2 pi root over m by k. So if we put the value of total t, so we get t is equal to pi by 3 root over m by k. So this is the time that we have. So now if we look at this particular case, so we can understand it in this way, that during the motion, if we consider the setup like this, then this was the mean position, and the time it takes to reach from here to here, that is from t equal to 0, it reaches here at t equal to pi by 3 root over m by k. So this is the first slot of motion, the time at which it collides. So when it bounces back or reaches the equilibrium position for the first time, the time it will take will be equal to 2 pi by 3 root over m by k. Now after this, it goes on the motion on the other side, which is the free case of SHM, and this will be equal to half the time of SHM, that is t by 2. So if I add pi root over m by k to this particular answer, so I will obtain that t is equal to 5 pi by 3 root over m by k. That is the time at which the particle comes for the second time to the equilibrium position. So now if I start looking at the options, the first one is saying the speed of the particle when it returns to its equilibrium position is u naught. This statement is correct because the collision is perfectly elastic. The time at which the particle passes through the equilibrium position for the first time, pi root over m by k, is incorrect. It will be 2 pi by 3 root over m by k when it passes for the first time. The time at which the maximum compression of the spring occurs, this one is also incorrect. The maximum compression of the spring will occur at 2 pi by 3 root over m by k plus pi by 2 root over m by k, and we will not get this equal to 4 pi by 3 root over m by k. The time at which the particle passes through the equilibrium position for the second time, so this is correct, 5 pi by 3 root over m by k. So for this particular problem, we say that option A and D are the correct alternatives. So with this, we have come to an end of the problem solving of momentum and impulse.